2, 1. This is part 2 of why is DARPA in your phone? I'll try to make this real quick. In the previous video, I explained how only recently I learned that this level 1A artificial intelligence was actually acquired somehow by Apple and Google, etc. And we've been dealing with it, or y'all been dealing with it for years. I've cut it off a long time ago. You know, I have no trouble typing in a search term, okay? You people want to just keep on running your yap. Actually, I remember, I'm going to use some vulgar language here. I remember talking to the mental ward one day, and some female person of unknown sexual orientation asked Siri, said, "Siri, can you fuck me?" And Siri said, "I'm sorry, I can't answer that question." What you really need to ask yourself is, you know, we the taxpayers through DARPA, I hope you can hear me, I'm trying to talk loud, there's 20, 30 mile an hour, humidity's no longer really a problem. We who spent hundreds of billions of dollars on this project, on this artificial intelligence project, what kind of deal did Apple and Google make? How much data and information are they giving back as part? I'm sure they probably had to pony up a few dozen billion for this stuff because they didn't write the code. Government code writers did, from all my research. So ask yourself, here I am going, "Hey Alexa, run my house. Hey Siri, what's the answer to this and this?" Which, you know, Siri and Google are designed to answer the questions of the most stupid and ill-spoken people of 100 languages on this planet. Ask yourself, what is DARPA getting back out of your phone, especially about you? Are you being targeted like I was? Are you going to have your phones destroyed like I had? I'm going to stay with this series of Motorola phones because my research indicates that the following Motorola phones may not, until I actually, I'm going to the professional reviews now. I've got to find out. Actually, I watched one the other night. And by the way, sometimes you'll see me handling a phone and it makes the phone look small. They're not. I just got big ass hands, okay? Simple as that. You know, I watch all these videos in which some guy, some geeky's constantly thumbing up and down and all this stuff, and his little tiny little girly hands makes the phone look big. When I realize, when I look at it, OMG, it's, you know, his hands are half the size of mine, and he's just trying to get Patreon support and get idiots like you to watch him. I'm going to go back to the original question, which I want to keep this one short, probably at 5 minutes. Ask yourself over and over again, what is DARPA getting out of this deal? It's not, you can't find the real answer anywhere. What I think is, I think that they're studying all of you retard, easily manipulated sheep, you SJW weirdos, that's what they're doing, is they're studying how to manipulate you with the help of huge half-trillion, trillion-dollar businesses. They're studying how you think in your weird, twisted, brain-damaged way because, number one, you weren't bottle-fed. You have the latest DNA on this planet which means your brain is usually going to be right around about 600 to 800 cc's smaller than mine. They're studying how they can manipulate you, keep up the fear-mongering, and at the same time satisfy your most base desires to be entertained by a device that doesn't care about you or your well-being. Think about it. Why is DARPA in your phone studying you? Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, blah, 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 blah. That's why I love Motorola. I love you, because Motorola is actually, my sister-in-law was a Motorola executive for 45 years. And right now, even though I've read these, watched these reviews of these guys that are raking down tons of money from young millennials because they have pretty little girl hands, and they make that thing look at so, oh, look at this, they're scanning it up and down. Actually, they're just scanning the same thing up and down. They're just showing the, and they're not really telling you that the device in your hand is studying you and has already figured out that you have a less than double-digit IQ. Okay? You're definitely, almost all cell phone users, pad users, even PC users have an IQ lower than 100. You know, when you gauge it correctly and stuff like that, by the time I was 4 years old, and even since then, my IQ has been double almost every human being on this planet. And yet, young people like this morning were talking smack to me, who have no education, who are living in the converted mom's garage or whatever, and you know, trying to tell me about the fictional global warming crisis, of which there's no evidence, but there's an enormous amount of evidence that man's CO2 has led to global greening. The green ring around Australia is just more than doubled. The Canadian shield, tundra, etc., has increased in vegetation tenfold since man, just in the last 30 some odd years. We have all the evidence to prove that mankind's impact on this planet has been solely positive. And for those of you who are too stupid to believe me, at least listen to somebody that you worship, which is George Carlin. That's the name of the video. It's hard to find now. You can find it on my playlist. George Carlin on global warming, 7 minutes and 39 seconds, and he will make all of you self-important, save the planet losers realize that you're just losers, because 25 species every day go away. 95% of all species ever have always gone away. And if you actually think that man can alter the climate of this planet for the good or for the bad, actually so far the proof is saying that we're doing it for the good. The global greening is proven. That's undeniable, irrefutable data from satellites. So I just want to remind you, just before I close out here, less than 10 minutes, you're sitting there and you want it so easy so that you don't have to just tap a few keys and stuff like that. You want to talk to your Alexa, and you want to talk to your Siri and all stuff, because you have a sub 3-digit IQ, and you actually, most of you actually believe the citations that come up on Google. No, it takes a genius, an educated genius, and an old man. This morning I was doing battle with people that were barely in their teens or 20s, calling me old whatever, and I reminded them that you can be born smart, like me, but it takes decades to acquire intelligence. That's what you idiots don't realize, is that you're incompetent to analyze your Google searches. I've seen people, I'm going to go a little past 10 minutes. I've seen people pull up stuff on Google and talk to me on the phone. And I go, okay, who's the authority cited? What's the phone number? What state, what, and they go, well, there's no authority cited. And I go, well, that tells you right there. Half of what's on the internet is porn, kiddie porn. And half of the other half is bullshit that's been put up there by people who are not even as smart as you, just to make you think that you're smart. Now, there's less than 25% of the internet that's of any use at all to anybody. And I'm going to end this one once again with, why are you helping a defense project to study your sheep-like brain that's low IQ, easily manipulated, and you don't even know it. You're not even aware of it. There's one company, it's created by a neuroscientist called, I think, Dopamine.com or whatever, who specializes in all these algorithms that I'm going to go 12 minutes, that make these devices more addictive. Like, instead of giving you instant notifications, which I keep notifications on everything off. I don't get notifications till I go to that section, okay? I ain't stupid. I'm not going to listen to no bells, whistles, or anything. You don't get through to me unless you're on my priority list. And actually, this phone on its own eliminates really all spam calls. It's smart enough to, thank you, Motorola. I haven't had a single problem with the, spam callers or telemarketers, since I bought this phone, which I set up properly before I ever activated it. But just think about it. You're being studied so that you can be manipulated. Nobody manipulates me. Nobody has ever, the lovely birds, nobody's ever manipulated me unless they had guns, a badge, and a handcuff, and every time they lost. Carlos Ann Terrell, Andrea Guidry, and Joan Scroggins, and a bunch of others, okay? Every time you lost your job, and Carlos Ann Terrell at least took a gun to her head and did the right thing. Y'all have a good day.